Retro Unboxing.
Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jonathan, thanks for watching. I always seem to start these videos with an apology. Sorry, I've not been around for a while, blah blah, etc etc. And this one's probably no different really. The trouble is life gets in the way. I've been working 5, 6, 7 day weeks, and in all honesty this just takes a back seat, unfortunately. I have continued collecting though, and over the last year to 18 months I've picked up a good dozen or so consoles, all nice, mint boxed, etc etc. So I am desperately hoping to get back into doing this far more regularly. Today's a bit of a funny one as well, because ordinarily with consoles I have specifically been looking at consoles that I've had in the past. So Commodore 64s, Amigas, PlayStations, etc etc. So this is a bit of a different one, and I don't really want to ramble on too long, so I'm going to grab it in a second. You already know what it is because of the title, but yeah, I'm trying to give you the big reveal. So I never had one of these before. I did play on a friend's original version, which was simply the CPC464, but what this is the Amstrad 464 Plus. So to my knowledge it's basically identical, bar from a couple of things. Obviously it's an updated design, but it's still got the tape deck built in. Now I have already tested this. So there's no, there's no real jeopardy. But what I haven't done is tidy it up, clean it up, etc. So I'm going to include some of that in this video. For example, the box has a pretty thin layer of something on it. And the reason for that is because it sat in someone's loft for 25-30 years. Now the other thing that I have already kind of worked out is that in order for the computer/console to actually work, you have to have that cartridge, and it has to be in, because that cartridge contains the the operating system, the BIOS, the ROM, whatever you want to call it. So that has to be in, and then once you've plugged it in and you turn the computer on, you have the option to either play that game or load or type whatever you want in, or load from the tape deck. So I'm going to very quickly show you everything that I bought. So this literally came up on Facebook Marketplace at the weekend for £100, so about $150. And I immediately messaged her and said I would like to come and buy your Amstrad. So a couple of hours later she messaged back and said yes, you can come and buy it. When do you want to come over? Here's my address. So I messaged back and said I can come over this afternoon, whatever time is good for you. She then messaged back and said someone had messaged her and said, oh, I've got no intention of buying it, but you're selling it far too cheaply. What a absolute dick. So she then basically said, will you give me some more money for it? And I'm like, well, I'm not, usually one for playing games and that. But okay, ours 150 quid. So we agreed it's 150 quid, which I guess is probably about $200. But what I didn't realise was that it came with quite a bit more than just this. So when this was released, it came with its own monitor. And it came with one of those. So it came with a monitor, which is colour, and literally has the cables built in to connect directly to this. So I'm not entirely sure whether you can use this monitor with other stuff. I presume you can. More learned folks out there will be able to tell me that you definitely can or definitely can't. But what it also came with was 2 huge boxes of games. This is box 1, and this has got lots of big box type stuff in, and all of these compilations. It's just a ridiculous amount. I've not counted, but it's over 100. It's probably close to 150. So that's box 1. Now I've had a quick look through some eBay prices, and some of the rarer stuff. For example, the Masters of the Universe movie, it's like £40, 30 to £40 on eBay. So there's going to be a lot more rare stuff in here. I'll be totally honest, right now it wasn't and probably still isn't my intention to keep this in my collection. So forgive me, this is partly going to be a bit of a sales pitch, because I will probably be putting this on eBay either as one job lot or splitting it down. I'm not normally there to just try and make money from other people, but on this occasion it really just doesn't quite fit with my collection. Anyway, so that was the first box of games. So this is the second box of games, and again it is full. It's got half of the Codemasters collection. I say half, it's probably not half, because the Codemasters did rip out hundreds of games through the 80s and 90s, but I'll try not to tip them all out. There's just a ridiculous amount in there, and as I said, they unfortunately don't really sit in my collection. If this was a Commodore 64 or maybe a Spectrum, it would have worked in my Alright, so let's get all of this out of the way, get the computer out, get the monitor out, and take it from there. So that's the monitor. As I mentioned, the cable's already built in, so this is going to be for the video signal, and that one is power. So it's a bit of an unusual setup. I've not seen that before, where the monitor provides power to the computer. So I'm guessing that someone would have originally actually bought this as a bundle, because there are no additional cables in this box for connecting to a different monitor. There's also no power brick. So I'll show you what we have in it. Well, I'll show you around the box first. There's actually not much to show. The box is a little bit mucky, so I am going to clean this up. The front of the box is the same as the rear of the box. The top of the box, unfortunately, that's the real only major damage is that, and this seems to happen to all of these type of boxes, but there's that kind of tear. It's just a common thing, unfortunately. And that's the side of the box on this side, and then I'm getting very dirty just touching it, and then it's the side of the box this side. So there's actually not really a lot in here, because, as I say, as I've shown you, the cables are already built into the monitor. Oh, check. This was a cracking game. I remember playing this in the arcade. It was ace. Ooh, bubble bubble. Another arcade classic. And then we have a manual, which in this condition, you know, as I say, it's things like this that mean that it's not something that I'm looking to keep. It's there, it's intact, but it's just scruffy. It's used, you know, it's in good condition. It's just, you know, not. I want mint stuff. Unfortunately, some of the polystyrene has broken. Yank that out. Now, let's get this out of the way. So the only other thing that came in the box was Burning Rubber, the game, 1990. So the biggest problem that this console computer had was that it was released, it was an 8-bit machine in what was basically a kind of burgeoning 16-bit world. And it did come with a controller. So they were definitely trying to push the console element narrative with this machine. and this was the controller that came with the really wank GX 4000 console, which was very expensive. And again, it was an 8-bit console in effectively what was very quickly becoming well, I say becoming a 16-bit world. The Amiga had been out 3 or 4 years prior. So there is that. It's a bit mucky. It's a bit mucky, and I keep saying it, and I know I'll sound boring, but this just doesn't sort of fit with my collection. But I will give it a clean up before I sell it. The computer itself, when I first saw it, I was a little bit disappointed with the condition, but that's largely because the first thing you're going to see is the yellowed keys, and they are yellowed. There's no getting around that, and I can't just clean the keys. They need to be retro brighted. I have a man, Luke, if you're watching. I may give you a shout. I may just sell it as is. The other thing that you will immediately note is the tape thing is missing. Now I ended up pulling this out, so what you'll see is there are two little arms that kind of keep it in place, and one of them, the peg on the other side, so this is the peg, on this side the peg has snapped off. But at some point while I've been handling this machine I heard something rattle inside, so I'm fairly confident that it's in there, and I'm fairly confident that I can simply glue it back on. But it was working, but what I don't want to do is start trying to force anything at this point and break anything else. So I will have to dismantle it and see what I can do, see if I can find that little plastic tab. Just to show you around the machine, this side there's nothing. This side we have the, did you hear it? Definitely in there, that's excellent news. Yeah, this side we have the cartridge port. We have a couple of joystick slash mouse ports. I assume that you could use a mouse on these things. And then what else do we have? That to me looks like a headphone jack. Don't know what that one's for. That is a switch. That looks very much like some sort of telephone port. So whether this has a built-in modem or not, I have no idea. And then on the back, I believe that you could plug a floppy disk drive into here somewhere, and some sort of parallel, I believe that's a parallel port for like printers and such like. And then these two ports over here, this is the port that plugs into the monitor, like so, and this is the port for power. So all you have to do is connect the monitor to the power, press on, and we're good to go. So it's a pretty simple system in that respect. So that's kind of everything that I've got to show you for this part of the video. It's definitely 100% going to be a two-parter because I'm conscious that I do blather on a bit. I do see the comments and I do see people kind of going, you know, just shut up and get on with it. And to tell you the truth, to a certain degree, I don't really care. It's my channel and I kind of do what I want with it. And you either watch it or you don't. And frankly, you know, if you want to skip forward as I do, I watch a lot of YouTube, and if someone's boring me or I just want to skip through to the good bit, I skip through to the good bit. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. That was part 1, and watch out for part 2 coming very, very shortly after, because I'm actually going to record it now. Thanks very much for watching, and see you on the next one.
Retro Unboxing.